Spencer Rattler could shock everyone and start for the Saints. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the backdrop of today's video, Jacob Hester, Matt Flynn on the new look OTB off the bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn, of course, replacing T-Bob after T-Bob went to Barstool, which congrats to T-Bob. We wish him the best. But this is the first video I think we've watched since that departure. So it'll be interesting to see how the new dynamic works on the show.
So I do want to make this point because you made it, and it's a decent point. Not a good one, but a decent one.
Take it.
When you were talking about Spencer Rattler and, you know, knowing that they brought somebody in to replace you and what that can do for you, there's two things it can do. It can either make you crumble because you're so insecure and you're like, oh, my God, my replacement's here. I'm done. And I've seen a lot of people at LSU in San Diego and Denver have that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Rattler, you know, we talked about this last year, but like Rattler, he's a very unique player because of his history and his experience. And he is, I'm not even sure the right term for it, but he is that like 1% of the 1% of the 1% when it comes to a long time of competition. When you are a guy that is the #1 overall prospect coming out of high school, whenever you are competing to be a starter at Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley, when you are the favorite to be the Heisman winner, when you are the favorite to be the #1 overall pick, when you're doing all these, when you win the Elite 11 camp, when you win the Senior Bowl MVP, like when you do all these things, you are so used to competition, and you are so used to really, really high-level alpha dogs gunning for your job and gunning for your position or trying to start over you or trying to beat you out on this drill or whatever. And, you know, for some people, they don't like that. Like, they're not comfortable in that setting. They're not comfortable in that dog-eat-dog kind of world. And then other players just kind of embrace it, accept it, and they do well in it. And whether it's like this, whether it's a delusion thing or a narcissism thing or just an insane amount of self-confidence or whatever, but some people really do thrive in those settings.
Or it can piss you off. And it can bring out something that you've been missing. Now,
and being pissed off is such an extremely powerful motivator, or just like you said, it can crush you.
And I'm just giving you my example, my career. I always felt like no matter if it was at Evangel or LSU or even San Diego, somebody was always like brought in to replace me. Like even at Evangel, like that's why we joke around, but like I was playing D-line and linebacker because like there was a daddy ball situation and I couldn't get over to running back and I wanted to. And that was my fuel there. And then at LSU, we all know they brought in 5-star after 5-star
after 5-star. They did not want to play you at all.
Running back. Like they were like, we're going to force the 2-star bow-legged white running back to prove us that he can go out there and still be the starter. But that fueled me. Now, that didn't mean I was a bad teammate either.
Yeah, I mean, competition, I mean, you know, competition doesn't mean necessarily that you're undercutting the other guy or you're a bad teammate or whatnot. I mean, this is, especially in Rattler's situation, you're trying to, because it's such a unique thing with Tyler Shough where Rattler is more experienced yet younger, Rattler is still trying to stake his claim as the #1 on the team. He's still trying to start his career, you know, in the NFL, just like Tyler Shough is. It's not like he's had a 5, 6, 7 year career and he's holding on to something. You know, they have like equal motivations to win the job and be the guy. So yeah, it's not malicious. It's just competition.
Still go like, hey, my boys, Richard Murphy, Charles Scott, Keelan Williams, Stephen Ridley, and go on and on and on.
Dudes.
They were my boys, and I was going to be the best teammate I could. I wasn't going to be that guy that's like, I'm not helping you. You're trying to take no, I'll help you, but I'm still going to keep my job. You're not taking it from me. You can have it when I'm gone, and I'll watch you, and I'll cheer for you. And, hey, when I'm tired and I pat the top of my helmet, you can come in and get a couple carries for sure because you're good. Right? You're going to help the team. If I'm not at 100, like, come in here and get these carries. Like, there's a way to be pissed off and go about it where you're not a bad teammate too. So I had that situation. When I was in San Diego, they bring in fullbacks all the time. one of my boys, Patrick DeMarco, who ended up having a long NFL career. They brought him in. They're trying to replace me and Tolbert with him, right? We brought in a guy named Frank Summers. They tried to – every year that happened, and I loved it. I'm like, who y'all bringing in? I loved if they were working out like H-backs on a Monday morning when I came in. Who's on that field? Oh, they
Sean Payton notoriously would bring in kickers to try out like every Monday just to try and keep that kind of pressure, keep that competition alive in the locker room. Because a position like kicker, you need to exist in a world where the pressure is always at the highest level. And he knew that. He knew how to turn those dials. And sometimes, especially at the quarterback position, the human element and the psychology of it is just as important as the arm slot or the intangibles, or not the intangibles, but the tangibles, I guess, of the 40 time and the arm and the all this and that. Some people, and I'm not even talking about the Saints really, but just you've seen it across the NFL where, I mean, like the Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask. That was built for Kyle Trask to win the job. And they brought in Baker, but Baker is just like what I'm saying with Rattler, where Baker, you don't win the Heisman. You don't get to be the number 1 overall pick. You don't, win the job at Oklahoma, and you don't do the things he did, and you don't act the way he acts without embracing that competition. And there is a video on this channel where we're talking about Baker and Kyle Trask. And in that video, I said, Baker is not the guy you bring in to just lie down and lose this competition. Like, he's built his entire life on winning these kind of competitions. And Spencer Rattler is exactly that. And it's not just parallels because of Oklahoma. But he has shown you time and time again that not only is he comfortable in this setting, not only is he comfortable in, 5-star versus 5-star, elite level prospect versus elite level prospect, not only is he used to that, but he has thrived in that. And he has walked into every one of those rooms and dominated the room. Whether it's walking into the Senior Bowl or walking into the Elite 11 camp or walking into Oklahoma or whatever. He's shown that he can exist in that world.
Okay. It takes you to another level if you can get there. If you can't, they're going to take your job. But if you can do that while still being the best teammate, being good in the locker room, not being a cancer, just realize, like, hey, if I'm Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough, man, I am glad they drafted you. That's what I needed, but this is my job. Now, we'll watch film together. We'll break down coverages together. I will help you. You'll help me. That's fine. But just know this is my motivation to be the guy.
Yeah, and for Spencer Rattler to go through the things he had to do last year, being such a depleted team, such a bad team last year, and for the court of public opinion that actually thinks he still got a shot, when he did all that as a starting quarterback as a rookie, means that he's got something to him.
Yeah.
You could see it last year. Even as bad as everything was, and you could not have a worse situation. Spencer Rattler is playing quarterback. He's a 5th-round rookie. He is he's not supposed to be playing. And he's taking snaps from a center who wasn't on the team the week before, and Connor McGovern, who was signed off the street. He is throwing to receivers who were either undrafted or signed off the street. His running back, right, is a practice squad player who was released earlier that season. He's looking around like, I don't even know who these guys are. I don't know the system. I don't know who these guys are. The guys also don't know who each other are. There's offensive linemen in all kind of different positions. All hell's breaking loose. But in moments, he was still good. And like Matt said, that did help him in, kind of the public perception, where a lot of people are like, yeah, he does have a shot. He does have some things that are undeniable, whether it's his athleticism or his arm talent or whatever, just his moxie. But absolutely, he's got something that stood out.
He's got some juice. He's got potential.
Yeah.
People see it because there was those flashes. Okay? When you talk about the Saints drafting a 2nd-round pick in Shough, a talented guy, people are going to get caught up in they drafted him to replace. They drafted him to be the starter. No. They drafted him so they could have a good starting quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the last name Shough.
Mm-hmm.
If it pisses the other guy off enough to be the best guy, it was a great draft pick.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, people do get caught up in that whole thing where it's like, well, they drafted Shough, so Shough has the advantage, whatever. Sure. But Kellen Moore is not going to put the worst player on the field just because he drafted Tyler Shough. I'm not saying Shough will be the worst player, but they drafted Tyler Shough, and like Matt said, at the end of the day, all they want is a good quarterback. They don't care if it's Rattler or if it's Shough or if it's Deckers or if it's Jake Haener. Doesn't matter to them. Whoever the best man is, go ahead, rock and roll. If he gives us the best chance to win, by all means.
Great draft pick. I said this about, I'm going to bring up the Packers a lot, but when the Packers drafted Jordan Love,
yeah, they know.
Okay, they didn't. Of course, they drafted like a long-term replacement. But I say the great ones always use it as motivation.
Yeah.
What did Aaron do after they drafted?
Had a massive year.
I think 2 MVPs in a row.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
In the twilight.
Yeah.
It's a motivator and it's powerful. So, like I said, they drafted a second-round pick to have a good quarterback.
Yep.
Doesn't matter which one it is.
Right. In the front office, they know that. Like, okay, well,
No
we
doubt.
just want
It's
a
great,
good starting
great
quarterback.
pick. Right.
And so, like, I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of fans like, man, you drafted this guy 40th overall. And maybe it is Tyler Shough. But if it's not, just know that you're getting the best version of Spencer Rattler as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Right. Now, which is 100%. And if Tyler Shough does beat out Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough is the starter, then that means he beat out the best version of Spencer Rattler. And he beat out a game opponent. He didn't beat out, Trevor Siemian, or he didn't beat out Andy Dalton, or he didn't beat out whoever, some journeyman, Jameis Winston, or someone like that. Like, okay, he's deserved of the role. Conversely, if Spencer Rattler beats out Tyler Shough, you can know, damn, he must have been balling to beat out Tyler Shough, to beat out the guy that Kellen Moore drafted 40th overall to try and be the starting quarterback. If Spencer Rattler, who isn't this coaching staff's guy, if he wins it, you can say, okay, well, I guess there's a good reason he won it, and that's why I think it's a good spot for Saints fans to be in. And in today's day and age, like everything, everybody wants to make, draw a line in the sand for literally every single thing. But whether it is Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough, you, as a Saints fan, you should not care. Now, if you went to Louisville or if you went to Oklahoma or if you went to South Carolina, you're rooting for your guy, that's one thing. But I say it all the time, but don't get caught up in the who did good today. Who's doing good tomorrow? Who did good last week? Ooh, Tyler Shough, 7 for 7. Spencer Rattler, 7 for 8. Point Tyler Shough. Ooh, Spencer Rattler's 8 for 8. Tyler Shough, 6 for 8. Ooh, 2-point Spencer Rattler. Like, it shouldn't be that. All you should be rooting for is that these two guys continuously push each other to be the best version of whoever ends up being the starter.
I don't think Jake Haener's in this conversation. It's
He is
Spencer
not.
Rattler.
He's
It's
not.
Tyler
Come
Shough.
on.
It's
Yeah.
those two guys.
Like when I got drafted, they picked the second rounder quarterback, and they picked me in the 7th round. Now, the common person out there would have been like, all right, well, the second rounder got paid all this money. 7th rounder didn't get paid any money. And so you make him the backup. And if you don't do that, then like you just wasted $2 million or whatever it is, whatever he got paid as the second round.
Yeah.
Not really. It's the same. You spent the money already.
You're not paying
Right?
anybody anything
Yeah,
right now at
we
that
got
position.
this guy for nearly nothing.
I
And we
mean,
paid, yeah, exactly.
You got peanuts right now into Spencer Rattler.
peanuts, dude.
So it's going to be a great competition. I don't know what the overall look's going to be for the New Orleans Saints. The roster's got more issues in vogue. Without question, it does. You were so thin as far as your weapons. At receiver, running back's better than it was. I like some of the people you've brought in through the draft, through undrafted free agent guys. I like Clyde being there. Receiver is so thin, man. You are like one injury away from having guys off the street, having Uber drivers again like you had last year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And you can't have the injuries for sure.
Defense is a little bit older, so the roster is what the roster is. But I do like the fact that you've got a quarterback competition that is going to be a real competition.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to drive each other. You have a veteran, even though he's a rookie, because he is older. It's not a joke. I mean, he's about to be 26 years old. He gets it. He understands it. So he's not going to pout throughout the process. Spencer Rattler's not going to pout throughout the process if they're doing.
But Shuck's done this too, right? Like Shough, similar to Rattler, where it's like, okay, he was in a competition in Oregon. He was in competitions at Texas Tech. He was in competitions at Louisville. You know, it might not be at the level Rattler had it, because Rattler was the guy. He was the number one guy coming out of high school, his first year at Oklahoma, like all that stuff. So it wasn't maybe at that level, but Shough is used to this. He understands it, and he is mature. And even just being older and being more mature just in life, you understand kind of the context of what's happening around you better than a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, 22-year-old.
Doing it right. What we're talking about. If you pout, you lose.
Yeah.
It's cut and dry.
You're not going to be there.
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds
No,
like
it doesn't.
it sounds
That's
like
what I'm saying.
For Saints fans, like it sounds like the good part of this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks or whatever, but it sounds like these two guys are going absolutely at it, like Apollo Creed and Rocky in the training montage in Rocky 3. Like, it sounds like they are both, iron sharpens iron type thing. Like, it sounds like they are going day after day, practice after practice, OTA after OTA. They're in there. And it's only been a couple weeks, but as of right now, it has been nothing but positive from both guys. I just saw before I got on here from Thursday's OTA where Rattler, I think, was 6 for 8 for 3 touchdowns in the red zone drill. Shough was like 7 for 8 for a touchdown. Like, these guys, it's nonstop. I mean, I think between both of them, they might have had like 5 incompletions the entire offseason so far. Like, they're going after it every single day, which is exactly what you want.
And they're going to push each other.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We're not even Saints like fans over here.
No.
But we're going to give them the best shot.
Oh, for sure.
But you guys listen and know Jake and I, we'll call them out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'll give you some advice for off the bench. So when T-Bob left, I thought it may be interesting for the show because Matt and Jake aren't Saints fans. Matt Flynn played for a couple different teams in the NFL. Jacob Hester played for a couple different teams in the NFL. They both went to LSU, but they're not Saints guys, right? Which is fine. You don't have to be a Saints fan in the market. My advice would be if they give just unbiased analysis on the Saints from the scope of like 2 former NFL players, and they don't necessarily try and poo-poo the Saints, right? If they can do that, I think the show will be a very interesting listen because it will to give NFL level experience and analysis with an unbiased kind of look at a team is relatively interesting. So if they can do that, I think the show, the new version of Off the Bench can be successful. And obviously I hope it is successful. So, but this so far has been great, all right? This so far has been fantastic where, okay, Matt Flynn absolutely has expertise in this situation. Jacob Hester absolutely understands what an NFL locker room is like. They could have easily came on here and said, it doesn't matter. These guys suck. These guys are clowns. Saints suck. Saints this. Sign Teddy Bridgewater, whatever. But this 7 minutes and 11 seconds into this video, this has been great.
Yeah, we'll get him.
What is funny, though, is you did play for the Saints.
I did. Finished the career. Saints was the last helmet I ever put on.
Me too. I was in camp with him. Yeah, I was in camp with him, and I said, hey guys, I'm going to stay at the house.
Yeah, I'm good.
They were going to, so I've been to mini camp with them, and they were about to go to the Greenbrier, and I'm sitting there, and I got 3 young kids, and I had moved my family all over, and I had that feeling of, my guy, you're done. And when you have that feeling, you have to pay respect to football. If you're not all in, you don't need to do it.
A lot of people I've heard who do retire early, that's what they say. They say the second you start to think, the second you have the doubts, you should get out.
It is a sport in which if you half step, you'll get exposed real quick.
Yeah.
And they were great, though. I called them. I was like, hey, here's the deal. They're like, we totally get it. We totally understand. Wish you all the best. And they brought in another fullback, and it was what it was. But, we both finished with the Saints helmet on.
That's pretty wild, right?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. You wore 3, right? Cajun Cannon's number.
Number 3. Really?
Didn't you?
I was 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's Cajun Cannon's number.
All right.
Yeah. I thought you were saying really I wore 3? I wore, guess what number I wore?
41.
Okay. Alondra, guess what number I wore with the Saints?
18.
I wish I could. I couldn't. At that time, it was only 20 through 49.
Oh, okay. 20 through 40? 22.
20 through 49.
22.
Okay. Tay-Tay?
26.
Oh, gross.
Gross number.
44.
44.
Nice
Okay,
fullback
that's
number.
a fullback
Mike
number.
Fullback
Allston
number.
kind of number.
Fullback.
What was
Yeah,
Mike,
I was
40?
44. That's what I was going to be.
I've heard
Um,
the Saints camps used to not be much fun either. Like back in the day. I heard it from a couple of different fullbacks, actually.
Is that what?
That Saints camp was not much fun like back in the
Oh,
Sean Payton days.
even mini camp wasn't fun. It's like, hey guys, we don't have pads on here. Like,
Yeah, like-
we're good. Like, if we're setting the tempo, that's fine.
Yeah.
But is this the tempo?
Yeah.
Okay, it is. Let's go.
This ain't college.
Oh, 20, 30 ISO over and over and over again. But
Inside run. Let's
but
go.
if you had a good block on ISO, Sean Payton would give you a fullback belly the next play.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Thought I went blind for a second there. I guess this is where the outro will be. No intro, no outro. It's another new thing about the OTB. I guess I haven't recorded it yet. Hey, another advice to ESPN 1045. We don't need the intro and outro. Let's just get into the video, get out the video. We don't need that. That's a bit dated. But good stuff. Like I said, first video I've watched of this new OTB setup. I think it's good. I like the dynamic. They absolutely offer a lot of, NFL experience, hard to find. So, yeah, wish them the best. But yeah, I think Spencer Rattler and all that, it absolutely could be a motivator. It absolutely could. And I don't think, it's obvious now. Like, it's been a couple weeks. Like, he is not going to wilt in the face of this competition. Doesn't mean he's going to win it. All right. Before all the Tyler Shough fans or the Spencer Rattler fans or whatever get crazy in the comments, like, it just means that this experiment is working. But it absolutely could be a motivator. All right, get on down in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.